Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, then we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us today is Governor David Paterson, and he always worries about what's going on in our city, our state, our country. Well, Governor Paterson, what's on your mind this Sunday morning?
Well, it's a very interesting week, John, particularly on Thursday, when Kristi Noem, who's the Homeland Security Director, was relieved of command by President Trump in place of Markwayne Mullin, who is a Republican senator from Oklahoma City. Mullin met with the media right after the announcement was made, and he said that he wants to collaborate with Democrats more than has been so in the past, which is a good sign for a new leader. Noem really made her bed and then didn't sleep in it earlier in the week, John, when she was asked if she would apologize to the families of the two people who were slain in Minneapolis, and she refused to do it. Now, the right thing to do in that position would have been to have said, yes, I'm really sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that I said that they were terrorists, but a lot of things were going quickly at that time, and when I got to review it, I realized I made a mistake. And that is the biggest mistake, in my opinion, that elected officials make. They box themselves into a corner thinking that they can't tell the truth when the truth would have been the best way out. I submit to you, John, that if she'd answered the question the same way I just did, that he would have kept her. Now, there was a growing desire for her to leave, apparently, not just from Democrats, but from Republicans as well. But now President Trump has demonstrated that this is the first removal of a cabinet member by President Trump in his second term. He had removed 7 cabinet officers by this time in his first term. So, with the distinct advantage of hindsight, he can look back and make decisions when he wants to. He was obviously talking to a few people in a couple of days before making this move on Thursday. And I think that it just demonstrates, not just with him, but really with presidents, that given a little time and settling into the position, you start to get better results.
I think you're right. One of the problems in Minnesota was that Homeland Security, and I said this to the president at one time, but it's after all, it's his decision, is my original discussion with the president before he became president was the fact is, let's get rid of all the major criminals. And I think that's in the old 80-20 rule. 80% of the people would say, yeah, you're right. Let's get rid of all the major criminals, the murderers, the rapists, the drug dealers, etc., etc., etc. And I would say any sane person, whether they're Democrat, Republicans, or independents, will say, yes, that's the correct thing to do. But I think Kristi Noem went a little bit overboard and started getting rid of all illegal migrants, even though some of them might have been married to American citizens, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, that's exactly what I think happened. And she was pretty audacious. She went into different cities and served subpoenas, which is not what the head of the agency is supposed to do. And then, she was pretty antagonistic toward Republican Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana when he was questioning her about a $200 million budget that she had come up with to do advertising about how the public can help Homeland Security. And he asked her directly, did President Trump sign off about it? And she said yes. And within 2 hours, President Trump heard about it. He hit the ceiling because apparently he did not sign off about it. So that's, when inexperience leads to more inexperience and it inevitably
See,
someone,
when this stuff started happening, I didn't usually, I would go directly to the president, but I didn't do it this time. I went to people that were very close to him and said, our original message was the 80-20 message, all major criminals, get rid of them. And but the few people that I told to that were very close to the president must have gotten to him too.
Yeah, and I think now there's a nice little situation. The new Homeland Security Director, the senator from Oklahoma, he said that he wants to talk with more people on the other side of the aisle and get the idea of what's the best way to come in to their territories. And Tom Homan demonstrated he came into an absolutely.
By the way, Tom Homan is one of the people I told.
Yeah, Tom Homan went into Minnesota and he cleaned that place up in a week and a half. I mean, nobody ever did anything like that in this country, maybe since Wyatt Earp. And I think it's just.
I knew that. I didn't know that guy. I'll check with Cindy Adams if she knew him personally.
Oh, why? She's an old friend of his, but I think that it was really a good week for the White House. I'm a Democrat, and I don't agree with maybe 70% of the things they say, but the way they ushered her out and brought somebody in was, I thought, masterful.
Well, Governor David Paterson, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your common sense. And if the rest of the Democrats had common sense, it would be a better world to live in.
Well, enjoy the rest of the weekend, John, and I'll try to round some of them up.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.
Great.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.